He's no longer with Stephanie. That one line landed like a flare in the middle of an already chaotic celebrity news cycle. And when it hit just hours after Taylor Swift got sued in a completely separate legal fight, the internet did what it always does now. It stitched the stories together instantly and turned timing into a theory. Here's the factual version first, because this one got messy fast. Taylor Swift was sued on March 30th by Las Vegas performer Maren Wade, who claims Swift's branding for The Life of a Showgirl conflicts with Wade's long-running Confessions of a Showgirl trademark. Wade says Swift's scale and market power could overwhelm her existing brand, and she's asking the court to stop Swift from using the Showgirl branding and to award damages and profits. Swift's reps declined comment to NBC, and Reuters reported that Swift and Universal did not immediately respond to requests for comment. Separately, on March 31st, Page Six reported that Tom Brady no longer has Stephanie Jones as his current personal PR rep, based on multiple sources. But Jones' side pushed back, saying she still works with Brady on various joint ventures and partner-related PR. And hanging over all of this is the fact that, just days earlier, a judge allowed Wayfair's defamation claims against Jones to continue in the wider Justin Baldoni-Blake lively dispute. Those are the confirmed facts. The idea that all of this proves some giant coordinated collapse. That part is commentary, not reporting. What makes this such a combustible headline is that it sounds more connected than it actually is. Taylor Swift's lawsuit is a trademark case. Full stop. It's about branding, naming rights, and whether The Life of a Showgirl creates confusion with an earlier Confessions of a Showgirl mark. Brady's reported shift away from Stephanie Jones is a representation story, not a court filing involving Taylor, and even that story comes with a built-in dispute because Jones' side says the relationship isn't fully over. Then you add Stephanie Jones' role in the Baldoni lively legal tangle, and suddenly a bunch of adjacent stories start looking like one giant domino effect. That's how the public conversation got here, and to be fair, the timing is wild. Swift gets hit with a fresh lawsuit over one of the biggest album brands in pop. Then within a day, a high-profile report says Jonesworks founder may have lost one of her most famous clients, or at minimum is facing renewed public questions about that relationship. In celebrity media, timing is half the story. The two things don't need to be legally connected for audiences to treat them like symptoms of the same reputational storm. That's where public reaction took off. The Taylor piece spread first because it came with instant TV news packaging. Entertainment Tonight, Good Morning America, and CBS Mornings all pushed short segments on the new suit in less than a day. Those kinds of clips matter because they don't just inform people, they validate the story as mainstream enough to enter casual conversation. It's no longer just a niche legal filing. Once it hits those formats, it becomes coffee break gossip, fan account content, TikTok explainer material, and YouTube commentary fuel all at once. Then the Brady Jones report gave the second half of the headline its hook. Because Brady is exactly the kind of name that changes a niche PR business story into a public-facing celebrity story. Stephanie Jones wasn't just being discussed as Baldoni's former publicist anymore. Suddenly, she was being discussed as the woman who may no longer be handling Tom Brady personally. That shifts the conversation from legal paperwork to status. In Hollywood and adjacent celebrity circles, status is everything, but this is where people need to slow down. What's confirmed is that Page Six cited multiple sources saying Brady no longer has Jones as his personal rep, also confirmed. Another source familiar with Brady said he's handling things more in-house with a small team, and Jones' side said she is still working with him on certain ventures and partner-related PR. What is not confirmed is a neat cause-and-effect storyline that says Brady saw the Baldoni fallout and immediately walked. That may be a theory. It may even turn out to be partly true. But it is not what the published reporting actually proves. The same caution applies to Taylor Swift. Her new lawsuit is real. The filing is real. The trademark conflict is real. But it is not, based on current reporting, an extension of the Baldoni lively war. It just landed at the same moment that the Stephanie Jones story got hotter because of that judge's ruling last week. This is one of those situations where proximity is being mistaken for connection. And celebrity media thrives on that confusion because it creates a bigger, cleaner, more dramatic narrative. The interesting part is why audiences are so ready to believe the bigger narrative. It's because celebrity culture no longer separates legal trouble, branding trouble, and PR trouble the way it used to. They all feel like the same ecosystem now. A lawsuit is content, A publicist change is content. A trademark filing is content. A judge declining to dismiss a claim is content. And once that machinery starts moving, everyone around the story gets pulled into the same orbit. That's especially true when Taylor Swift is involved, even on a totally separate track. Swift doesn't have ordinary celebrity gravity. She has field-distorting gravity. Any legal dispute touching her name becomes instantly oversized. And in this case, it's not even a fan drama suit or a gossip-driven complaint. It's a very specific trademark case brought by Maren Wade, who says she has spent more than a decade building Confessions of a Showgirl as a column, show, podcast, and live cabaret brand. NBC reported that Wade's trademark dates to 2015 and that the complaint argues Swift's Showgirl branding overlaps in structure, phrase dominance, and commercial impression. That gives this case more substance than a clicky headline might. Reuters added another important detail. The U.S. Patent and Trademark Office had already rejected Swift's application for a federal, Life of a Showgirl, trademark covering live entertainment services because of potential confusion with Wade's existing mark. That does not decide the case on its own, but it explains why this isn't being treated as a random nuisance filing. It also raises the stakes because Wade is arguing Swift kept using the branding anyway, and she wants the court to intervene. That's why this whole situation escalated so quickly. You had one story about a superstar being sued. You had another story about a publicist whose name is already radioactive in one of Hollywood's ugliest legal dramas, possibly losing a very visible client. And you had both stories arrive in a media environment already trained to connect every high-profile movement into a master plot. The social media debate reflects that split. One side is focused on the legal meat of the Swift lawsuit, trademark confusion, prior registration, commercial overlap, and whether a court would really bar her from continuing to use a blockbuster album brand. The other side is focused on the symbolic side of the Jones-Brady report, whether A-list clients are quietly creating distance from anyone caught too close to the Baldoni lively blast zone. Both debates are active, but only one of them is actually grounded in a new filed complaint. The other is reputational interpretation. And reputational interpretation is powerful. In fact, it may be the more powerful force here. Stephanie Jones is now operating inside a brutal public frame. Every new mention of her name gets read through the Baldoni lively saga, whether the development is directly about that case or not. That's what happens when a publicist becomes part of the story. The invisible operator becomes visible, and once that happens, every client relationship becomes legible as a referendum. That says a lot about celebrity and influencer culture right now. We've hit a point where the support infrastructure around stars, publicists, managers, lawyers, brand strategists can become as narratively important as the stars themselves. That was once insider baseball. Now it's front-page material. Fans and commentators track representation moves the way they used to track album teasers or casting rumors. A PR shift can trend like a breakup. It also says something uncomfortable about fame in 2026. Nobody gets to stay adjacent anymore. If you're near the controversy, you are the controversy. If your client is in a legal war, you're not behind the curtain. You're in the thumbnail. And that changes how reputations get damaged. It's not just the headline figure who absorbs impact. It's everyone in the ecosystem. For Taylor Swift, the reputation effect is probably different. Her scale gives her insulation. A trademark fight is serious, but it doesn't land on her brand the way a conduct-based scandal would. It's more of a legal business problem than a moral one, at least based on what's public right now. For Stephanie Jones, the reputational effect is sharper because her value proposition is image management itself. When the image manager becomes part of the mess, the optics cut deeper. What happens next is where this gets interesting. Taylor's lawsuit could remain a contained intellectual property dispute, or it could grow if there are early rulings, stronger public statements, or more reporting about the trademark history. The Brady-Jones situation could also clarify quickly if either side says more. Maybe this is a genuine clean break. Maybe it's a partial restructuring that got turned into a sensational split. Right now, the reporting supports uncertainty more than certainty. And that uncertainty may be the real story. Not whether every headline is secretly connected. Not whether there's one giant celebrity implosion tying Swift, Brady, Baldoni, Lively, and Jones together. But whether the modern celebrity system has become so intertwined that completely separate legal and PR events now instantly merge in the public imagination. That's the bigger question hanging over all of this. Because once the audience starts reading the whole ecosystem as one single drama, nobody involved gets to control their own narrative for very long. If you want, I can also turn this into a sharper, more YouTuber-style version with bigger punchlines, or a cleaner mainstream news commentary version with tighter legal language.